With an apparent arrest taking place at Monday Night Raw and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Recalling the time that the late Bray Wyatt trained at the Hart family dungeon, Natalya told Chris Van Vliet, Bray Wyatt, before he made his return back to WWE last year, he approached us about training and coming to work in the dungeon, and so we kept it all extremely private because if somebody doesn't want to be filmed, we don't post about it. So it can be very private, but he was so excited to get in the ring and he was giving everybody promo advice and you could just feel him get excited about it. It's funny because he said to me when he was in our dungeon, he's like, Natty, I want to do something for you guys. What can I buy for you? He was so giving. He was like, I want to do something. I want to buy something for the school. I said, Wyndham, you don't have to buy anything. You just coming here and giving advice is just everything. Because after he would be in the ring, he would go around every single person that was there. And again, it was usually between 10 and 15 people. And he embodied what TJ and I want our dungeon to be, where it's you give back. It's just all about giving back. It's about helping people. It's about helping people from every walk of life, and Wyndham was giving everybody advice and saying, what if you said it like this? Or what if you did that like this? He was just so giving. That's what the dungeon is. The dungeon is about us giving back. Talking about the possibility of being recognized by Guinness World Records for another achievement in WWE, Natalya said during that same interview, that's one that they're looking into because a fan on Twitter pointed out to me that I have the most submission wins of any man or woman in WWE history. And I was like, I have more wins than Bret Hart? Well, submissions, because TJ pointed out, the wrestling savant that TJ is, he's like, Bret didn't always win with the sharpshooter. He's like, you've won a lot of matches with the sharpshooter, but Bret won a lot of his matches with roll-ups and quick pins and things. So I was like, damn it, I'll take it. Another world record. I'll take it, but it's fun. Noting what he saw with CM Punk's interactions with other AEW stars, Mark Henry said on the Hall of Fame podcast, I saw him try to uplift the younger talent, and AEW is not a small group. AEW is, anytime you can go to an arena and sell 80,000 plus tickets, you're not little. Booker T added, it's that old school mentality, and that old school mentality rubs the young people the wrong way. Young people call you a boomer, or they say you're old, outdated, or whatever, and some people are stuck in their ways. Punk is stuck in his ways. That's not a knock. I like conviction. I like somebody who can stand by their guns and they can debate with you on the fact that this is why being an old will save your life. I know better. I experienced it. I went through the fire. I feel like Punk's delivery of some of that conviction fell on deaf ears. Speaking about the inclusion of NXT stars in the main roster and the policy involved with that in WWE, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful noted that, while we're not sure if it was specifically a Triple H move, we're told the decision to have NXT talent on main event will likely continue. In an interview with the Breakfast Club, the Nature Boy Ric Flair revealed the most he made annually from professional wrestling, noting that for a full year, $800,000. I make twice that with Ryan Fiderman. I just gotta hang out with him while he drinks tequila at night. For that same interview, Ric Flair said this about a movie being made about his life. I know, guess what? It's coming down. No, it's not based on my book. I can't tell you any more than that. I just got the word. The writer's strike is over. I can't say any more. In an update on his condition after suffering a concussion at the AEW Wrestle Dream event, Sammy Guevara wrote on X that good news, bad news. Bad news, I'm not cleared yet. Good news, every day I'm feeling better. Sorry, Houston, I really wanted to put on a show for y'all. Hopefully next time. Also, F Chris Jericho. Explaining his call out of Dave Batista at a GCW Bloodsport event in 2019, Karrion Kross told Chris Van Vliet, "So it's crazy how it can either happen immediately or it can happen over time, how people will attach like a crazy context to something that might not totally be accurate. It's like when I called Dave out, my intention was, first of all, he was in the hotel, we were wrestling, and it was a GCW event. And just even being at the, the smaller level that I was at the time, I love that. Like, I still love this. It's hard for me to imagine not being in love with this anymore to the point where I would be comfortable and okay to retire. So I was thinking that context at the time, like, there's no way he doesn't love this anymore. I doubt it, but Josh Barnett knows him. Maybe Josh may have told him, but it was never in a way where it was like, screw Dave Batista. No, like, you heard the reaction from people. They really right away were like, it would be awesome to have Dave Batista in Bloodsport. It would be awesome. And like for people to see him move legit, you know what I mean, on the ground and free roll and flow with people, that I think it would have been awesome. Maybe he just needs something creative that he would be really interested in, because that's all of us. You can hook us back into wrestling when we're retired if there's something you're genuinely interested to do creatively, and Dave has like a shoot background. He's like a legit brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so I go out there and I do the match with Nick Gage, choke him, get up, and yeah, call Batista out with the intention, hoping that if he really didn't want to be retired and he wanted to do something that he's never done before, that would be in his wheelhouse that people have never seen him do, which would be like the shoot work stuff, I would have been happy. Mentioning the segment between Roman Reigns and LA Knight with John Cena, Mark Henry said this about it on Busted Open Radio. The number one thing was Cena drawing attention to himself. You cannot do that when something is going on in the ring. I remember I did that with Ron Simmons once, because he said shut the F up on TV. He meant don't move, don't say anything, I'm working. And I drew attention away from him, and I wasn't supposed to say nothing, so I shouldn't have said nothing. We know the obvious reason why, because he's John Cena. All of the antics and the hey look at me, it took away from the segment. For a potential spoiler on Bianca Belair's return to WWE, it was said that Ringside News exclusively reported in September that WWE had a plan in place for Bianca Belair's return. It took a bit of waiting, but fans will soon hear her hair-whipping music kick off once again. Ringside News was told by a tenured member of creative that Bianca Belair could return as early as this Friday's SmackDown and will resume her regular schedule with the company. That schedule includes the November 4th Crown Jewel Premium Live event. When it comes to changes that Triple H is bringing to the creative side of WWE, Ringside News wrote that Sean Ross Sapp reported behind Fightful's paywall that a multitude of talent returning to the show, long-tenured wrestlers finally making their debuts, various cameos, increased screen time for women's talent, extended matches, and fewer ring restrictions are all signs that Triple H is in power now, and these changes are expected to continue. According to WWE sources cited by Fightful, these changes are expected to continue, and the adjustments appear to happen rapidly. Even though Vince McMahon didn't directly engage with creative this year, his influence was notable during that time, particularly concerning the inclusion or exclusion of certain individuals on the show. It was noted that there is a feeling that matches like Ivar and Kofi Kingston, Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Gunther and Bronson Reed were very important in establishing the in-ring aspect of WWE Raw. Fightful added that while one writer had said that many of the Vince McMahon changes were minimal throughout the year, we're told that the adjustments have freshened up things and relaxed the process now that Raw has a much more wide open roster of talent to implement and use. Outside of Raw after Mania, which internally was viewed as a creative disaster, McMahon wasn't making changes in person, instead doing it remotely. Even though there was a long reputation of Vince making last-minute changes, it would also happen throughout the weekend, as we saw with the Nixed DIY reunion from the summer. When McMahon would learn the creative plans, remote adjustments would be made along the way, and he would indicate wrestlers he did or didn't want on the show. One writer reportedly said, well, I guess he wasn't lying when he said he wasn't in the weeds, but in a way, he just sprayed Roundup on the weeds and checked in on them every so often. Going over the exchange between Adam Copeland and Ricky Starks on AEW Collision, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that it was awkward. I mean, it was very clear that something got started, and at that point, it was not scripted. One of them got a little bit mad, and the other one got mad back. I mean, you can make it work, there's nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't smooth. I was like, where is this going? They're professionals, and they finished it. You know, it was that vanilla midget line, like, wow, what a terrible line. You know what I mean? It was just brutal. After the match between Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler on Monday Night Raw, fan footage shows a man being escorted out of the arena by law enforcement. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.